What's up, everybody? Ruben Garcia here, founder of Proven by Ruben Business Development, and I want to congratulate you for showing up here today so we can go over the top 5 things that successful and non-successful entrepreneurs do. Obviously, you want to roll in the successful category, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. The very first thing, and some of you guys probably already know this, think. You have to think different. If you're still telling yourself that you're gonna look stupid, don't do it, you'll never make it, well, let me tell you, what you focus on expands. So the more you focus on that, you're never gonna make it. Successful entrepreneurs always think differently. I was talking to this one man, super successful guy, and he goes, you can never control the first thought in your mind, but you can always control the second. And what that was telling me was that those days that I'm saying like, you can't do this, don't wake up, hit the snooze, don't move forward, those first thoughts you can't control, and that's fine. But you can always control the second one, so you have to use that second thought to beat the hell out of your first thought so you can keep moving forward. So I want you to do 3 things for me right now. I hope you got a piece of paper, and I hope you got a pencil or a pen. Very first thing, write down everything. So everything that enters your mind, I want you to write it down. Write it down on that piece of paper. Now you're gonna carry around this paper for at least a day so you can understand the thoughts that are coming into your mind. Now when you first see this list, what I want you to do is recognize all those thoughts, even the negative ones. Be appreciative for them, because one thing I want you to do is use that as fuel so you can light that fire and keep moving forward. Number 2, write down the right. Write down the right. And what that means is, what would happen in your world, your personal, your professional, your finances, your relationships? What are the great things that are going to happen in your world if you decide to think differently? I want you to write all of those down right now. And number 3, write down the wrong. And what that means is, when you get to this category, what I want you to do is write down everything that will not go right in your world. Your personal, your professional, your relationships, the money, the finances, your time. What will go wrong if you decide to stay the same and not think differently? Who will be affected? I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be more than you. So don't be selfish, right? Don't be selfish and think differently, right? Think so differently that you don't affect those other people in your world. Most of you guys came for what not to do so that you don't become a non-successful entrepreneur, correct? Well, this is what a non-successful entrepreneur does. I'm going to decide not to think differently. I'm going to decide not to write everything down. I'm going to decide not to write down the right, and I'm going to decide not to write down the wrong. Here's the deal. Ultimately, it's your decision. So when you leave here today and you decide not to do this, you have to blame yourself. That is the beginning to everything else failing, right? Making every excuse in the book on why this can never happen. You don't have time, you don't have money, you don't have a pen, you don't have paper. Whatever it is, that's what's going to begin that journey for you to be a non-successful entrepreneur. All right, so here's the second thing. Calendar. And my clients right now are shaking their head like this because I am very passionate about your calendar. With this free tool, you can accomplish almost everything. So when I give you an activity or something to do, and if I ever hear that you don't have the time, one of the things I'm gonna challenge you on is say, okay, great, pull out your calendar. Let me see your calendar. Let me see what that looks like. Well, we'll see, what happened was I don't have a calendar. Yeah. Right, so you're already starting off with excuses on how you can't move to the next level. Non-successful entrepreneur. So here's the deal. I'm gonna give you 3 things that are gonna help you maximize a calendar, because you gotta understand it's bigger than you. All right, so you gotta do these 3 things. Number 1, this may be pretty simple. Get one. You got to have a physical or a digital calendar. Now, a lot of people that I have seen that ran into a physical calendar, which is fine. I've coached some people with physical calendars that have absolutely crushed it. However, when it comes to scaling or selling your business as a successful entrepreneur, more likely you want to get a digital one that other people can tap into and set appointments for you, all right? So number 1, easy, get one. Number 2, I'm just going to write family and passions right here. And what this means is the first things that you're going to block into your calendar is your family, your passions. What do you truly enjoy doing? What are some of your hobbies? You're even going to have to block in a my day, why day. Again, my clients are going crazy right now because that day, at least once a month, is for you to do whatever you want to do. If you want to sit on the couch, if you want to just chill out, if you just want to do nothing, fine. But you got to have something to rejuvenate, something to recharge you, right? Because entrepreneurship can punch you in the face sometimes, right? And number 3, what I want you to do, if you've not yet heard of this, go out there and research it. The 80-20 principle. And what this says is that 20% of your activities drive 80% of your results. So you tell me, where would you like to be? Where would you like to spend most of your purposeful time in, right? And it'd be your 20%, because again, 20% of your activities drive 80% of your results. So when you look at your calendar and you see all the white space after one, getting one, number two, putting in all these items first, the things that love, or the things that you love, the things that move your heart, then you're gonna find a bunch of white space that you're gonna plug your business into, and we're gonna divide that stuff into what we call an 80-20 principle. You better be writing notes, because again, what do you think a non-successful entrepreneur does? They look at this, say, I'm not getting a calendar. No way, I don't want to. It's all up here. I can remember everything, and so can everyone else. Again, not gonna get one? No, because I know when my family time is. I know when the kids are going on soccer practice. I know all of this. Yeah, well, what they've done is turn their strategy into hope. I just want to show that we're a lot more purposeful, so we need to get a calendar. All right, number 3, my lucky number. This is what we're gonna put down, which fits because number 3 is numbers. You gotta know your numbers. You understand that numbers are the language of business. And when you understand your numbers, you're going to be able to find every gap and every opportunity in your business for more conversations, for more wins, for more vision, only through the numbers. The numbers will tell us where we need to move next. You got to know this, because understand, for you sports fans out there, what if you were watching a game, right? Let's just use the Super Bowl, for example. Let's just watch it. So we're watching this Super Bowl, and we're all excited, and we're wearing our green or red or whatever colors, and they keep hitting scores, but no one's keeping score. So at the very end, only a couple of our friends are writing down numbers. Everyone's got the wrong numbers. No one was keeping score, and the game's done. How do you feel? How's your team done? How many yards does X player run? You understand, like, there's so many stats to football, there's so many stats to baseball, and there's a reason for it, right? There's a reason, because there's value in it. And I want value in your business, so you have to watch the numbers. So understand the path is in the math. And we're gonna go over that right now. Number 1, end in mind. What I want you to do is, when you're thinking numbers, is think of the end in mind, right? Like, how many employees do you desire to have in your business at the end of the year? How much in revenue do you desire to make at the end of the year? And then what I want you to do is chunk it down: quarterly, monthly, weekly, and then daily. Do you think that you're going to be able to scale your business when you know where your business is at every minute of every day? Yeah, I think so. All right, so number 2, what I want you to do is think net. I need you to think net versus gross. Gross is cool, right? This could be a first game winner, right? We can look at gross first, but eventually this is one number I'm going to need you to look at, because this is what funds your perfect life, is the net, the money that you bring home after you pay Uncle Sam, right? We got to focus on this. What if your goal was $1 million, right? And at the end of the year, you look and you're like, well, for some people, this is still pretty good, but say you look at your statement, you're like, I made $200,000 and my goal was $1 million. But then you forgot about cost of sale, expenses, salaries, more expenses, taxes, and it just keeps rolling. We need to understand net, right? That's the number that's going to fund you, your family, the money, the cars, all of that is through net. And number 3, am I right? People accountable. And what does this mean? What this means is, this is how you're going to hold your people accountable. This is how I hold my clients accountable. So imagine that they come into your office, right? It's a report or something you need to go over with them to see how they're doing, sales or admin. And the first thing you bring up is numbers, right? How's your day? All that. Boom, drop your numbers. Because the numbers, again, are going to show you where they are at in their role, in their title. The numbers are going to say it, right? So this knocks out every excuse in the book on why things didn't happen, or if they try to, because we know sometimes they try to veer you to the left, like, don't look over there, don't look over there, look over here. And we're gonna say, what the numbers tell us to stay right here. The conversation should be right here. And here's the cool thing: if you're able to hold them accountable to that conversation, no matter how uncomfortable, you get to start to change their life, right? But they need someone like that in their world to hold them accountable to the numbers, so they can pay for whatever, the Disney trips, the cars, and whatever they desire to have. And not everyone in their world is going to hold them accountable to that. And thank God they have you to hold them accountable to their numbers. So this is very, very important. You got to have the numbers in your business. You want to know what non-successful people do? They don't track their numbers. They don't want to have that fierce conversation. No way. No, I want everyone to like me. They don't look at net. You hear a lot of people that talk about gross. Ask them to talk about net for a second. All right? And then they don't think about the end in mind. They never have goals in the first place. This is what non-successful entrepreneurs do. Let's move to the next part. And number 4, this is a big one for me. Leverage. Now, when you think leverage, if you're following people like Grant Cardone, then they're talking about money. And money is definitely a piece of leverage. One thing that I'm going to throw at you, though, is tools, systems, and then people. Now, in that category, because of the cost, right? Because of the cost, tools, systems, and then people. But here's the thing. A lot of people think that, you know, I'm the only one that can do it. I'm the only one that can do this at this high level. Leave me alone. Don't anyone come into my business or you're going to mess up everything. It all falls on me because I'm the best, which isn't true, right? Your clients, what they love is your standard. And if you could duplicate your standard, then you're gonna have a lot of people that fall in love with you. Think Chick-fil-A. The owner does not come to every Chick-fil-A, open it, wash the floors, make the chicken, make the fries, get your order through the window, give you the change, come back. What they've done is created a very high standard that everyone runs. You know when you go to Chick-fil-A, it's gonna be fast, and they're gonna say, my pleasure, when you say thank you, because the standard is so high. So one thing that we talk about is the leverage, because I don't need for your customer service to go down. I don't need for your family and your dog not to recognize you anymore, right? And one way that we can do that is by creating more leverage. All right, so I'm gonna give you the 3 things that are gonna help you create more leverage. Number 1, and this may look familiar, I just did it again. That may look familiar, 80-20 principle. And what that is, again, is that 20% of your activities will drive 80% of your results, right? So when we start talking about leverage, when you write down your 20%, what are the income producing activities? What are the things that you could focus on that not only creates more income, but also creates more opportunity? This, the 20%, is the thing you should be focusing on. Now, we're talking about leverage, correct? So what is the 80%? What is on your plate that you don't need to be doing, or that you don't do a good job at, or that you absolutely hate? Fine, fantastic. Bring clarity to it. Write it all down, because when you do, you need to look at that and recognize that it's your 80% and we need to leverage it. And there's 3, look, I'm gonna break off 3 of the 3. How about that? So number 1, tools. Again, I'm gonna bring it up again. Number 2, systems. And number 3, people. You have tools right now in your business that you can use for your 80%. So many people say, well, I'm not hiring anyone. I can't afford it. Yeah, that's fine. And there'll be a point where you can't afford not to hire someone. Okay, so let's start off with tools, like the calendar that we brought up earlier. Systems, like a CRM, a contact relationship management system. People, here, yes, the cost is higher, but man, that's gonna push your business to the 10x level. People, talent is what does that for you. All right, and number 2, hope you're keeping notes. This is all free and will bring a ton of money to your business and opportunity. Number 2, document. Now, what does this mean? Now, I tell my people to, 1, tell their story and document everything, to the processes from the beginning to the end. And for your salespeople, ask them to document on a weekly basis. For your admin, ask them to document on a weekly basis. Because what happens here is that now we get some tangible evidence of not only their activities, but how we can duplicate it and how we can make it better. With the admin or the salespeople sitting across from us, hell, with ourselves, holding it up to ourselves and ask ourselves, how can we make this system better through leverage, right? Because if we build a strong enough system, we can leverage it off for someone else to hold that type of standard. But it'll never happen if we decide that we don't want to document every process, right? Or hell, hire someone to follow you and you tell them, you say, document everything that I do during my day, all right? Number 3, and you know I got to throw this in here, coach or mentor. Man, you know what they say? Success leaves clues. Because we know that a coach and or a mentor is going to be huge in your business. They will be the ones that you throw ideas at and they say, this is how you do it, or you're on the right road. Now, if you don't think that's leverage, you might need to check yourself from the neck up, right? Coach or a mentor is huge leverage in your business. I had 3 in 1 year. This year I have 2. It is something that I hold tight to myself, and even the clients that I work with that really execute at a very high level still have coaches and mentors in their life. That is one of the biggest pieces of leverage that you could do and add into your business. So now you got to ask yourself and say, okay, so what do non-successful entrepreneurs do? And you know where I'm going with this. They say, no, I'm the only one that can do this. No one can do it better than me. 80-20, what? No, I'll do the 80% because my clients deserve to hear from me, not their standard, right? And number 2, no, I'm not gonna document everything. It's all up here, don't worry about it. Coach or mentor, I'm not dropping that kind of money. I'm not gonna have those people tell me what to do. That is how a non-successful entrepreneur thinks and acts when it comes to leverage. I like it. All right, and number 5, one of the most important pieces, got to do this one, action. You have to take action. If all that I'm talking about up here, you're just nodding your head and just saying, oh, love this guy, great advice. Close the laptop or turn off your phone and just keep doing what you're doing. Well, guess what? A lot of people say, oh man, dude, you're staying stagnant. You're not staying stagnant. What you're doing is you're falling behind. I don't even know what stagnant means. What does stagnant mean? It means you're staying still? Here's the deal. Time and opportunity is always going up. And if you're staying still, would you say that your opportunity and everything else is staying still? No, you're falling behind. Do you see the gap? You're moving backwards, all right? So the only way that you can really move forward is taking action. Remember this, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? So if you don't show up on this top 5 thing that I'm talking about here today and put some of that into practice, well then as soon as you leave here, that's how you're gonna do everything else, all right? It's very, very important to take action. And just to kind of scare you a little bit when it comes to time, Jesse Itzler has this amazing story. He goes over this and he says, for example, I forget the number, but we're just going to roll with it. If the life expectancy is 65 and I'm 50 and I say, well, I've got another 15 years to go hang out with so-and-so. I got 15 years. Well, they're looking at it the wrong way. The way you need to look at it is I have 15 more summers. I have 15 more summers to hang out with this person. If I don't get it done in 15 summers, that's it. So he squeezed his time by looking at the summers. I think that's genius, right? And it kind of scares you a little bit in order to take action. Because without this, nothing else happens. So I'm going to go over the top 3 things that you could do right now to ensure that you take action. All right, and the first thing that we're going to jump on does align a lot more with business, but I think it's important. And I'm not even going to write a word. I'm just do this. And what this means is that I want you to write this on your piece of paper, right? Where you got a line down the middle, and then you've kind of chopped off like the fourth of your paper at the top. And I'm just going to write now, and I'm going to write later. And what I want you to do is carry this piece of paper with you around for the day, and you need to write down everything that as activities jump into your world, what can you focus on right now that will bring in more income, more winnings, more opportunity in your business? That needs to go down right here. If it doesn't fall through that filter, what I call a vow, which does it align with your vision, does it align with the opportunities and winnings? If it's not aligning with that, you can do that later. Now for all these now and laters, what I want you to do is write a who. Who can run that later? Who can run that now if it's not necessarily you? Either way, the business is taking action, all right? And number 2, I'm going to write commit PC. Now what does that mean? For the commitments that you made, I want you to tie it to what I call a PC. And the PC meaning a promise. What promise did you make to someone else by through that promise, this commitment happens? The promise needs to be attached to someone else because that ensures that your activities will happen. You not only promise yourself, you promise someone else. And number 2, which is the C part, which you know already, this is very important to me, is your calendar. You made the commitment, you made the promise, now you got to add it to your calendar, okay? Make sure it's added to your calendar. That will ensure that you start taking action, and especially the promise, no doubt, will help you with that. And number 3, environment. Big, big, big. I'm going to draw some arrows. I'm going to draw a freaking star. Because here's the deal. If your environment is constantly saying, don't go forward with that. It's not going to work for you. It didn't work for me. Why would you even waste your time on that? You better stick with that job because that job right there, right? That is the best job. You don't want to leave that. Great pension, great pay, whatever they have to say to ensure, and they're not meaning to, right? They just want you to be safe. Like that's a thing. They want you to be safe, right? So they'll constantly tell you that. But you got to understand your environment must support your goals on taking action. Your environment must push you. They have to add to your life. They got to be your cheerleaders. If they're not your cheerleaders, they got to be there to multiply you, make you feel very uncomfortable. And what is one of those people? Well, again, that says coach if you can't read that, or a mentor. These people could care less about your feelings. They just know the big goals that you want to accomplish, right? And you'll be able to do that as long as your environment supports your goals. So right here, mad important, very important. So then you ask yourself, what does a non-successful entrepreneur do? I'm not even gonna take action on saying that word, right? Because that's what they do. They'll never do this right here. They'll never get clarity on what they need to take action on and what they need to do later and attach it to a who. They won't do that. Commitment? Oh, well, here's the deal. They'll commit to something. They'll never promise themselves. They'll never promise anyone else. And they'll never add it to the calendar. And number 3, they love the environment of negative people. They love the environment of people who divide their life. They love that environment where there's not a lot of growth because it makes them feel comfortable. So again, This right here is mad important. All of these combined will make sure that you will be put in a place where you are not a successful entrepreneur. All right, and you know I have to over deliver. So this is what I got to do now. It's the lightning round. It's the bonus round. All right, so here's the deal. One thing I need you to do is say this a lot more. Say no a lot more. Let's go through this. Hope this never happens to any of you guys. The plane's going down, right? Or it's just having bad problems. What's the first thing they tell you to do when that air mask falls from the ceiling? What's the first thing they tell you to do? They tell you to put it on yourself. You got to put it on yourself in order to help out others. You don't put it on your brother, your sister, your kids, your mom, your dad, your spouse. No. You can't help anyone else if you don't help yourself first. Because if you don't, you're down. You're passed out. You can't help anyone. You're flopping on the ground. You don't want to do that. You want to be available to help other people, and they want you to be available to help a lot more people. And saying no is saying that you're going to help yourself first. Because if you can help yourself first, right, and you're able to hit higher levels in your business, in your passions, in your money, in your relationships, then there's probably a lot more people that you can impact. Wouldn't you agree? So I'm going to go over the top 3 things to ensure that you say this word a lot more. Number 1. And what this says, if you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. You're saying yes to your family, you're saying no to business. You're saying yes to business, you're saying no to your family. You can't do both at the same exact time. So understand, when things come into your world that you say yes to, you're saying no to something else. Now, one thing when we talk about business, I want you to say yes to a lot more of the income producing activities, the vow, the vision, the opportunity, all those winnings. You got to say yes to and say no to all the paperwork, no to everything that holds you down, you and your business, because there's a lot of people you got to impact. There's that mask again, but you can't do it. You can't do it if you don't say yes to yourself first. And that means everybody who comes into your world, everybody, or a lot of people that want to come into your world and take a lot of your time up that don't match with your vow, you got to say no to. You got to say no to. Get a lot more comfortable saying no. Number 2. Write out, so I'm just going to do this, write out your mission and your vision. Now what this is for your business and your personal life. So now just imagine you're at the office and you're crunching through some work, wherever you're at, and you're getting your work done, and something falls on your plate. Boom! One thing to make sure that this is something you need to execute on, look at your mission and vision. Does it align with the larger mission? Does it align with the larger vision? If not, and it's not bringing in any income, you got to push it to the side. Got to push it to the side. Now, what about your family? What about your personal life? Have you wrote a mission and vision for your personal life? Something falls into your lap, right? And it's your personal time. You look at it and say, I'm saying no to this because I want to say yes to my family. The mission and vision almost becomes a lighthouse. It guides you to what you should be saying no to. And number 3, DFG, don't feel guilty when saying no. A lot of people are going to be like that very uncomfortable feeling of telling someone no. That very uncomfortable feeling of keeping your office door closed when it's 9 o'clock and you're supposed to be doing something. You hear someone and then you step back and do not answer the door. So I need you, when you say no, to DFG. Don't feel guilty. Now then you ask yourself, what do non-entrepreneurs or non-successful entrepreneurs do? This is what they do. 1, they don't ever add extra value. They say yes to everything. Understand, the more they say yes to things, that the other side of that is a no, and that no could be their family. That no could be their business. That no could be the opportunity that they can get to bring them to that higher level. That no could be a coach, like whatever it takes. They don't have a mission and vision for their business or their personal life, and they feel guilty, and they let it eat them up every single time, and what they've done is separate themselves from all the opportunity that they can create in their life. All right, so here's the deal. 1 is greater than 0. And what that means is something is greater than nothing. So with all the material that we went over today, I need you to execute on one thing. But here's the deal. I want to be part of it. So that one thing that you're going to execute on, make sure you post it with the hashtag provenbyruben. Remember that promise? Well, someone's going to hold you accountable to ensure that you get that done. If they're not going to do it, this guy's going to do it. So hashtag provenbyruben. Share this with anybody that you know needs this in their world. Send them to provenbyruben.com. You know they'll be alerted. They'll get this free value because I intend to change some lives and make a huge impact. Thank you so much for going through all this with me. I hope and I trust that it's going to change your world, and I look forward to helping you in the future.